I want to give you 3 common fitness tips that are still being taught today in order to lose weight faster. Now, these 3 tips that you hear all the time from popular influencers on social media, I didn't do when I did my transformation back in 2018, where I lost 70 pounds in 7 months. And I also didn't do it this year in 2025 when I lost my 43 pounds in just 10 weeks. Yeah, you heard that right. 43 pounds in just 10 weeks. Now, for those of you who are new to my channel and you're not familiar with who I am, my name is Tim Ernst. I'm an intermittent keto fasting coach who, like I just stated, lost 70 pounds all the way back in 2018. And I've done another transformation this year in 2025 where I've lost 43 pounds in just 10 weeks. Plus, I've coached hundreds of men from all over the world to lose at least 40 pounds in 16 weeks using my Keto Shed 40 program. And if you want more info on that, I'll go ahead and put a link in the description. You click that, it'll take you to a video. It kind of explains a little bit about me and how I could potentially help you. Okay, so these 3 common tips are still being taught today. And I think once you hear all 3 of these tips, and you don't do them, okay, I'm gonna tell you not to do these fitness tips. In fact, I look at them as myths, okay? I think it's gonna take a big weight off your shoulders, okay? So the very first one that I hear all the time is don't skip breakfast, okay? Now, the reasoning behind this is that you'll hear from a lot of personal trainers in the gym, you hear a lot of influencers on social media that'll say, you gotta rev up the metabolism. You gotta understand you were sleeping, so your metabolism was like slowed down during that sleep. And when you wake up, you gotta rev that metabolism so you can start burning fat. That's completely false, okay? Think about it. The word breakfast means break fast. You're breaking your fast. You can do that at any time of the day. It doesn't have to be solely for the morning, okay? So the idea is people say you gotta rev up your metabolism, and that kind of goes along with eating like the small 4 to 6 meals a day. They say the smaller your meals that you spread throughout the day, it's gonna rev up your metabolism. This is completely false, okay? Now, if you're one of those people that if you skip breakfast, you find yourself overdoing it on your calories toward the end of the day and you're kind of binging, then maybe skipping breakfast is not for you. But if you can skip breakfast, I would highly recommend it. This is something that I have done for years as I do intermittent fasting and I skip breakfast. I even train fasted, okay? I mean, think about it, right? When you're sleeping, you're in a fasted state. Why not prolong the fasting by skipping breakfast, okay? It's okay to skip breakfast. It's not going to hurt your metabolism, okay? So that's myth number 1, and I hear this all the time. You're perfectly fine to skip breakfast. It doesn't do anything to your metabolism. You'll be totally fine, okay? The second one that I hear a lot of like bodybuilders, fitness YouTubers, is what you'll see is their diets are very high in protein and carbohydrates. However, their fats are very low. Now you can do that and lose weight, but I don't necessarily like that approach. I've done it, and what I found is I become more hungry throughout the day. This is why they have to eat 4 to 6 small meals a day. It's very carbohydrate heavy. What does that do? Spikes insulin, spikes blood sugars, causes this hunger hormone to spike. So this is why they have to eat 4 to 6 small meals a day. Well, what if there was a way that you don't have to eat 4 to 6 small meals a day? You can actually eat less, but actually feel more full. Well, this goes into myth number 2, is the whole low-fat craze, okay? These people do what's called a low-fat diet, and they say that you'll lose weight much faster that way. You can, however, I adopt keto carnivore diet where the fats are really high. Now, like I just said earlier, wouldn't you rather eat less and feel fuller for longer? Well, that's what the keto diet will do. And intermittent fasting, like we just talked about in tip number 1, you can skip breakfast. So we've talked about 2 things. You can skip breakfast, which is considered intermittent fasting. You can go high fat, like on the keto diet. You don't have to worry about doing some low-fat diet that's totally boring and bland. In fact, if you notice in the grocery store, if you pick up like low-fat yogurt or low-fat cottage cheese, there's actually more sugar in those products, okay? So you don't need to go low-fat, okay? Now let's talk about the last and final tip that a lot of people do in the gyms today. In fact, they do it way more than actually hitting the weights. and that's doing too much cardio. You don't need to do any cardio to lose weight. A lot of people have this idea that I'm going to try to burn a lot of calories, and it's virtually not going to help you. It's much more easier to restrict your calories through dietary measures rather than trying to burn calories through some type of physical activity like doing the treadmill. I see this all the time. The treadmills are full and people aren't hitting the weights. Hit the weights. Now, if you want to do a little cardio after the weights because you want to do it for cardiovascular health and you want to do it for heart health, that's totally fine, but just don't use it as a tool to lose weight, okay? So I hope this took a big weight off your shoulders. Look, you don't have to do the whole low-fat thing. That was something that was done way back in the 80s. You don't have to do that. Don't be afraid of fat. Fat is your friend, okay? You can skip breakfast. It's not going to damage your metabolism. It's not going to slow it down. You don't have to worry about, skipping breakfast and you're staying fat because your metabolism is running too slow. Okay, that's completely false, all right? And then lastly, you can obviously don't have to do cardio. You don't have to do treadmills or stairs or any of that. You're welcome to do it, but you don't have to, okay? These are 3 things I didn't do at all this year, okay? I continue to skip breakfast and my metabolism is fine. I continue to eat very high-fat foods. I'm fine. I've lost the weight. And I did absolutely no cardio this year at all, but I did in 2018. And I'm actually losing more weight faster this year than I did all the way back in 2018. And I was just doing all kinds of cardio, the stair stepper, the treadmill. I was doing all kinds of cardio. I was flipping tires and doing all that kind of stuff. I did none of that this year, okay? The only thing I do is take walks in my neighborhood. I love doing that after a meal, kind of lowers the blood sugar. So taking walks is excellent, all right? So I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and always hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future episodes. Until next time, I'll see you then.